to the final of the men's 3,000 metre steeplechase. And there are some of the runners: Lamborghini of Italy, the Italian champion on that list, and the great Moses Cantanui, the world record holder and champion at the last two World Championships. He wears 810. A very strong Kenyan challenge, of course. He's accompanied by the Olympic champion Matthew Berea, there wearing 798, and Christopher Kosgei, who's made a great progress this year. Christopher Kosgei, who runs barefoot in this race. Look out also for the Asian record holder wearing 1126. Saeed Shaddad Al-Asmari. Angelo Carossi of Italy, the other one in there from Italy, 731. He's second in the European Championships last year. And Moses Kiptanui goes straight into the lead. Well, no hanging about for him. We saw some interesting tactics from his teammate Christopher Kosgei, hanging about and running round the field, but the Kenyans all beginning to bunch. Kosgei and Berea both up well towards the front of the field. And Al-Asmari, 1126, now in second place. Then, wearing 798, Matthew Berea coming past him into second place. Or rather, yeah, and Christopher Kosgei also up there. So three Kenyans up there in the first four positions.
Well, this is very unusual. I wouldn't expect Kiptanui to be taking them through. I'd have thought he'd been settling in at the back, but maybe like all the Kenyans, he quite enjoys getting out front. He is class apart, really. If he wanted to, being the 5,000 metre world record holder, he could tear this field apart probably from the front. I'd have thought he wanted to take the easy option, actually, Peter, and just stayed at the back of the pack. But he's out front, and there's three Kenyans up there already. Yes,
he's deciding just what pace he wants to run it at. Not running especially fast at the moment. Also prominent there was 1050, Florin Ionescu of Romania, who front ran his way to the final in both heats and semi-final. So it's Kiptanui and Berea. And in between them, Al-Asmari in the white and green there of Saudi Arabia. 814 is Christopher Kosgei, 1050 Ionescu. And the familiar sight of three Kenyans at the forefront of a steeplechase field. They've got a wonderful record in steeplechasing over the last 30 years, absolutely dominant in most major championships in which they're eligible to compete. Italian Lamborghini hanging well back, and it's his teammate Carossi who's up there amongst the front group. But at the moment, the pace is not such as to really split this field at the moment. Kiptanui just running it the way he wants, right out front. And it's very interesting that a man with such a pedigree as his has taken it on almost from the gun. 2 minutes into the race, so they'll be coming up to the first kilometre point very shortly. And what a marvellous record Kiptanui has. He's still a young man at 23, but he set world records on the flat at 3,000 metres and at 5,000 metres and at the steeplechase, and that time 8 minutes 2.08 back in 1992, and he said he wants to get that record again, and I for one wouldn't back against him doing it. Just looking at the runners going through there. Another one I haven't identified before is 423 Javier Rodriguez of Spain towards the back of the field, but it's still Kiptanui and Berea, Al-Asmari, Kosgei, and Ionescu. 1,000 metres, Steve, 2:44, so that's only about 8:12 pace, so relatively sedate for the Kenyans. Yeah. Pretty quick for most of the field.
I was just thinking that, actually. I mean, the Kenyans could probably handle this sort of pace very, very comfortably, but the rest of the field might be struggling a little bit. The conditions down there are probably quite hot, quite humid, but as I say that, the Kenyans now seem to be sort of pulling themselves away from the rest of the field. Al-Asmari, really, from Saudi Arabia, the only one that's amongst the Kenyans, splitting them up somewhat. Maybe this man, Kiptanui, has got it right. Maybe that's the way to do it. Just keep pushing hard and trying to break the rest of the spirit of the other athletes in the race.
Certainly stretching them on this lap. This is much the quickest of the race so far, I think. Christopher Kosgei, the barefoot runner, going wide around the water jump. Still hasn't really honed his technique on these barriers. So Kiptanui, Berea, Kosgei, Al-Asmari. Then back to Ionescu with Stefan Brand of Germany, the doctor who was 6th in the World Championships in 1993. The two Italians, 731 is Carossi, and then just behind him, 746 Lamborghini, a great finisher, but hasn't shown especially good form this year. Not really approaching the PB he set 2 years ago of 8 minutes 8.78. And this lead opening up here a bit, Steve, again.
Well, I think the pace is picking up a bit now, Peter. It looks as if Kiptanui's main objective now is just to run everybody else into the ground, and that includes his teammates, really, because there don't seem to be much sharing of the pace going on up front there, which is a shame, really. Berea, who's in second place at the moment, the Olympic champion, is quite happy to let the #1 Kenyan push it along up front.
Well, the top two Kenyans here, Berea and Kiptanui, both 23. Christopher Kosgei just 20. And Berea was the World Junior Champion in 1990 before winning that Olympic title.
Some race from Al Asamari, really. I mean, you know, you don't really see many Saudi athletes coming through. This man is the first, and he's really taking it to the Kenyans here. He's splitting them up, going around them. He's not letting them dominate, and that's good.
He's made great progress. He was only in the heats of the 1993 World Championships, and we didn't expect anything, and he came through last year, second in the World Cup, and he's improved the Asian record this year to 8 minutes 14.33. He's really giving it a go amongst men who've got much quicker times than that even. Be interesting to see what the 2 kilometre split is, because surely they have increased the tempo quite substantially in this second third of the race. Indeed, yes, 5:25, so a 2:41.7, Steve, after a 2:44 first kilometre.
That's fast running now. They're starting to pick up the pace, and you can see why. Kiptanui now moving himself away. I'm sure the other Kenyans won't like that, really. Kosgei, the barefooted Kenyan, who's been up and down through heat and semi-finals, is doing the same in the final. He's chasing his teammate Kiptanui up front there, and Berea, the Olympic champion, is in third. So now we're seeing the inevitable 3 Kenyans breaking away. Al Asamari is in fourth, and Lambrosini of Italy is leading the chasing group. 2 laps to go.
Yes, and the chasing group a long way back, Lambrosini and Pronin of Russia. But look at that gap there. This top 4 is away. The medals surely going to come from these. And the 3 Kenyans have got quite a gap. Even Al Asmari is having trouble to hold on. Kiptanui is just relentlessly increasing this tempo. A great champion twice already and bidding for a hat-trick now. Kosgei seems to be just going off the pace a little bit, but this has been deceptive before. Of course, we've seen him do that in the heats.
Well, he seems to sort of lack concentration for some parts of the race, drifts right back and then comes through again. He seems to be doing it again, letting his countryman Berea come past him, and he seems to be hobbling a little bit. I hope that's not a problem, but I've said this before, and he's proved me wrong. He's come screaming back again into the frame, but he's dropping back now.
Al Asmari coming round him again as Kiptanui comes into the home straight for the penultimate time. The Olympic champion Matthew Berea behind him.
Kiptanui looks so good, doesn't he, Peter? That's a great close-up shot of one of the greatest steeplechasers of all time. He looks so relaxed, hits the bow. Well, 7-4. I mean, this could be very, very fast indeed if Kiptanui decides to take this last lap hard, and he seems to be doing it.
Well, it's not that far off the world record. It started at 8:12 pace, and the world record is 8:02. I mean, a 58-second last lap would be asking a bit much, but this is tremendous running in the second part of the race.
I actually think he's going for it, Peter. Oh, there's a faller there.
Berea's
gone down. Well, that's sad. That maybe have robbed the Kenyans of a 1-2-3 in this race.
Berea's got on his feet again, though. He's trying to catch up, but it's an awful long to do on the last lap.
Well, it's a long way back. We can't see him in the picture at the moment, but look at the man out front. Kiptanui is going for it, I think, Peter. I think he saw the bell time and decided to go at the world record. To do that from gun to tape, I would think it's highly unlikely. Here's Kosgei, the other Kenyan. Berea is just behind, so he's caught about. Oh, he's gone down again.
Oh, no, twice on one lap. Anyway, here comes Kiptanui to come to take a hat-trick of titles, 3 successive wins at the Steeplechase, and a magnificent time. It's a championship best, 8:4.16, third fastest ever run. Kosgei takes the silver medal, Al Asmari the bronze. Stefan Brand delighted to come in fourth place ahead of Carossi, and poor Matthew Berea here fell twice on the last lap and has to come in down the field. Lambrosini fell in. Well, look,
there you see here.
He's caught up in the middle position.
I was going to say, just as Kosgei comes past, you can see Berea hits the deck. He gets up again. Al Asmari hurdles him. And then when he gets to the steeplechase, he's caught everything back up again. He goes back down. That is tragedy. 2 falls in the last lap of the final. But this man didn't put a foot wrong all through that race. What a talent this man is, Moses Kiptanui. Third fastest ever steeplechase from gun to tape and in the World Championship final.